FHN!
I'm Vanessa.
I'm Camden.
And welcome back to The Nightly Show. This is the last episode for the class of 2026, so stick by for a closer look at Proposition RT, a local car detailing business, FHN's weightlifting class, a critical look at fast fashion, a vinyl record convention, and special appearances from the other editors-in-chiefs, and so much more.
You won't want to miss this. This past Saturday, thousands of protesters marched through downtown St. Louis. In light of federal immigration enforcement, the war with Iran, and the increased cost of living, millions around the nation demonstrated their outrage in No Kings, including rallies in St. Charles, Jefferson, and St. Louis counties. The main march in St. Louis started and ended at Aloe Plaza on Market, with locals hoping that their resistance would lead to greater political change within the Trump administration.
As the future of our nation becomes increasingly uncertain, many people find it essential to do what they can as individuals to make a difference. One of the most pressing issues in our nation is how we protect our environment in light of rapidly changing climate patterns and increasing waste. This video addresses how students at FHN are addressing fast fashion's environmental impact by designing and creating their own clothing. Fast fashion is the process of producing clothes in mass quantities, often sacrificing quality in the process. The cheap prices and different styles make fast fashion especially popular for teenagers. However, there are several harmful impacts that can result from the fast fashion industry.
There's a lot that goes into the fast fashion about how things are being produced, the labor that's going to it, the materials that are being, and then the waste, because the construction is not always the best and then people don't use it long term.
Not everyone has the same style, so I think that it's easier for someone to find what they want to look like and what they want to wear.
To combat the harms of the industry, many students have taken to making their own clothing in an attempt to provide a more sustainable option.
Right now I'm working on my prom dress, which is really nice because this class gives a lot more freedom and more individuality in what you're gonna do.
You can make whatever you feel like wearing. If you don't like what you see in Target, you can just make it, or if something's not your size, you can alter it. With the way the world is going, you never know what you're gonna need and what kind of skill you might need. And honestly, in your everyday life, you never know what you could end up needing.
With the current state of the environment, many believe that it is more important now than ever to take a stance against fast fashion.
Just a simple Google search will tell you how much clothes are in the landfills right now. It's really bad.
People need to really investigate is what are you wearing? In regards to man-made fabrics, so manufactured, a lot of them are chemical based. And again, we have one planet, we have one body. How do we take care of it?
Reporting for FHNtoday TV, this has been Vanessa Ng, signing off.
Thank you, Vanessa. Looking ahead this month, this year's prom will take place on Friday, April 17th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Old Hickory Golf Club. Tickets are being sold this week for $65 during all lunches. Students must bring their ID to purchase tickets and can pay using cash or card. If you submitted a guest form by March 20th, you can also purchase your guest's tickets at this time. Students with any outstanding fines will not be allowed to purchase tickets until the fines are paid. In preparation for this big night, students are getting ready to look their best. For students looking to spruce up their ride before the big dance, senior Avi Patel offers detailing for local cars through his own business, Diamond Shine Detailing. Riley Aldenderfer takes a look into what it takes for a student to run their own business.
Before heading off to college, many students look for ways to gain real-world experience. Some work part-time jobs, while others start businesses of their own, like Avi Patel with Diamond Shine Detailing.
Diamond Shine Detailing, or what we call it DSD, it originated straight from the CAPS program. So me and some of my CAPS friends, we had no idea what to do. So we were just like, okay, people paid a decent amount for services. So let's go to Home Depot and see if we can find something that we can offer as a service. So, and we know that even just a lot of people that we knew have their cars really dirty. And so we were like, okay, hey, maybe we can offer these guys a carpet cleaning service for about $30, and we'll see if that takes us anywhere or not. We had no expectations. We didn't know how far it was going to take us or how short. Those people that we already got, they referred us to more people. And so we had more people that also wanted this carpet cleaning service. And so we were like, hey, might as well just turn this into a real legitimate business.
Running a company alone can be a major challenge, which is why collaboration often plays a key role when starting a business.
We have to use a lot of teamwork in that, as we have a few guys dedicated to each specific category. So we have a finance guy, we have a marketing guy, me and Suckman, the two owners. So we all have to be in constant communication to know what's going on. And so teamwork is definitely practiced a lot.
Through Diamond Shine Detailing, a lot of useful skills have been learned to aid their futures in the business world.
I think the biggest skill I learned is probably either networking or like just meeting with people, because through the caps, like every Friday we go on site visits. Plenty of times where we gone to Edward Jones, we've gone to charities, we've gone to like anywhere that you will meet a lot of people. I'd say the biggest skill I think is networking, because networking, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's a very important thing, not in the business world and life. It's just very important.
So I think even if someone doesn't want to just go into either one of these, it never hurts to just learn a little bit and learn how to talk to people. And I think a lot of the social skills and people skills that you get and the people you meet will transfer way more than whatever classes you are taking or whatever career you want to go into, as right now we're all still in high school, so we don't have as much of a clue as, let's say, a college graduate of what we want to do when we grow up. But meeting the right people will help you a lot in this time of our lives.
Thanks, Riley. Let's toss it to the EICs of news staff Naomi VanDyne and Peyton Thies.
The North Star newspaper highlights students just like Avi Patel in the stories we write. April 29th marks the release of the last newspaper of the school year. Here's a paper from last year to give you guys a little preview. It will look a little different from normal papers, as half of it will be upside down, marking the beginning of the senior edition. Make sure to grab a copy in your first hour on April 29th.
In the newspapers, we often feature many classes and activities that go on around the building. Located behind the small gym is the weight room, home to many weight training classes for students. Dunyah Almootan shines a light on the impact this activity has on students to build confidence and strength.
For many students, the weight room is more than a place to work out. One student, Fernando Rada, says weightlifting helped him overcome bullying and gain confidence he didn't have before.
Sometimes people need like a confidence booster. Like me, I used to get bullied a lot for how skinny I used to look. But then after like working out and stuff, it made me build confidence. Even if it was like in my own little room, I think we just all have to start somewhere.
Along with building confidence, students in the class are learning new exercises they may have not known before.
Well, there's one called the Arnold's, where you like put your arms right here and do it like that. I never really knew that was a workout for dumbbells until like I got this class.
From overcoming bullying to learning new exercises, the weight room offers more than just physical strength. It offers confidence.
Thank you, Dunyah. Now let's hand it over to Nate Smith and Olivia Graeser, the EICs of sports staff.
In pop culture news, March Madness is getting to its final rounds here as the tournament comes to a close. I hope you all participated in the FHNtoday Bracket Challenge. In entertainment news, Netflix is making headlines in a not-so-great way after backlash over its new price increases and a tiered subscription model. The new price hikes come with an option to pay less for Netflix with ads, angering some customers who believe advertising has no place in an already paid streaming service.
With streaming services becoming more expensive than ever, people have found renewed interest in physical media. Here with a video on a local vinyl convention is Mia Oldani.
In an era of streaming and instant access, vinyl records continue to draw crowds. At the St. Louis Record Show, collectors, sellers, and organizers gather to buy, sell, and preserve physical music.
So I actually had friends that would say, like, they'd call me up, they knew I collected records. They say, Dan, I've got it, got my records, I'm moving. I'm going to take them to the Goodwill unless you want them. I said, I'll come get them. And then I ended up with doubles and triples of some records. And the first time that I ever sold records, I took them to a guitar show because I thought musicians, they like music, it'd probably work out. So I just had one of those wooden crates, and I just priced them all. There was $3 each or two for $5. And someone came by before the show started, and they're just, asked me how much they were. I told them, and then they said, well, how much for the whole box? And I was like, they wanted the crate and everything. And I was like, oh, there's something to this record thing. But for a vendor, for me, it's everyone has their own personality. So I'm more of a rock and roll guy. So I do a lot of classic rock, hard rock, and heavy metal, punk, new wave, alternative. Back in the day, you would buy a record, and let's say, I'm just going to use this as an example. It's an easy example, but if you bought like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, the single off that was Money. You'd buy the record, and you get it home, you listen to it, and that whole record has a flow to it, and then you might find 3 or 4 songs on the record that you like better than Money.
And it's not just longtime collectors showing up. A new generation is discovering vinyl, not as nostalgia, but as something entirely their own.
I do a lot of shows, and I'm seeing a lot of younger people that didn't grow up with records at these shows, and I think that's fantastic. I think being able to own physical media is important versus just streaming because you always have access to it.
So I'm the founder of the St. Louis Classic Rock Preservation Society, and a few years ago we took over this record show because the previous curator had passed away. I think getting the word out has made it more successful than it may have been in the past. It was kind of a hidden gem, and we're now advertising it a bit more and trying to get in the younger generations, which definitely plug vinyl as well. They just may not know about something that is perhaps a little bit old-fashioned, is where everything's paid by cash and it's analog and it's not what you typically would think the younger generation would be after.
So this is kind of like, I love the St. Louis record show because it's kind of like old world in that these giant swap meets with just a bunch of people like bringing random boxes of records doesn't happen very often outside of this place. You know, that regionally speaking, some of them are starting to come back, but this one's been here like as long as I've been alive. So it feels like sort of like an institution or like a cool tradition that everyone's carrying on. Yeah, I mean, they're out there. Someone's got to pay attention to these things, and if they're there in your hands and you have something to play them with, that's why I got into records. People were just throwing these things away, and I'm like, well, if I have a turntable, I can listen to all these. And then it was like a spark, and it was just like, I love this. Yeah. Well, we love music. That's like the bottom line.
From wooden crates to full storefronts, vinyl continues to find new hands. At shows like this, music isn't just streamed, it's shared, collected, and kept alive. Reporting for FHN Today, I'm Mia Oldani, signing off.
Thank you, Mia. In state news, Election Day is Tuesday, April 7th. The ballot includes voting on new school board members, fire protection directors, council members, and most importantly, new propositions. For St. Charles County specifically, Proposition RT and Proposition EMS will be on the ballot. The former Proposition RT is a bill that would cap property tax at its 2024 evaluation, saving homeowners money while limiting funding for some public services reliant on property tax. The latter, Proposition EMS, would impose a 1% sales tax on all sales, with the proceeds used to fund ambulances and EMS services in the district. Registered voters can show up this upcoming election day and make your voice heard.
For more information on the possible repercussions of Proposition RT, here's a video by myself on how the bill would affect children with disabilities.
If Prop RT passes, and we're looking at potentially a $4 million reduction and or freeze, we would not be able to grow any of our programs ever. And that is a real problem because we are seeing more and more of a need for children coming into our programs.
Proposition RT, a Missouri Senate bill set to be voted on later in the year, would cap property taxes, a form of taxation which many organizations rely on for funding. One of these organizations, United Services for Children, a nonprofit specializing in helping children with disabilities, would be irrevocably damaged should the bill pass.
So what it would mean if we had a reduction in funding is that we would have to figure out a way to serve more children with less money over time. And that is just an impossibility.
A lot of the families we serve, their children might have more medical needs than a neurotypical child will have. That's an added expense, not only in terms of financial, but also in terms of time. So all of those things combined really add a lot of strain and cost to families. Unfortunately, those things have to be funded somehow. even if you are not directly affected. Maybe you've never had anyone in your family who has a disability. Well, that's great, but that doesn't mean that it's less significant. You might have a grandchild who requires interventions. And now what are you going to do? Because now we've made a decision to resource these organizations less. Is that worth it to you?
For United Services, the decision for Proposition RT is less of a fiscal matter and is instead a reflection on people's core values and priorities as human beings.
We value every person because of their intrinsic humanity. And our community and our society is a better place because we embrace people with all levels of ability, and we value what every person brings to the table.
We just have to, as a community, decide that we believe in the dignity of every individual, and are we willing to make that kind of investment to ensuring that people have a quality of life? Is allowing people to have their best possible life and treating every individual with dignity, is that either part of your core values or is it not? I mean, it really comes down to that. For me, that is a huge part. That's stamped in my DNA. I want to show up every day looking at people in the eye, being mindful of my neighbors. I mean, that's important to me. I want to be a good community citizen.
Reporting for FHN, I'm Camden Blair, signing off.
Thank you, Camden, and thank you for watching this episode of The Nightly Show.
Make sure to follow us at FHNtoday on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like and comment down below what story you'd like us to cover in the next episode. Once again, I'm Camden.
I'm Vanessa.
Signing off.